I'm me. And this is Kamen Rider Sorry, Christmas. Speaking of Christmas, this is Kamen Rider Fourze episode whatever. The second part of the Christmas special. And this episode actually is a pretty freaking awesome episode. I have to say, this is a 10 out of 10 episode. For the first time, I think for the first time in all my Kamen Rider Fourze reviews, this is a 10 out of 10. Why? Because, well, this episode does something to where I feel like it's breaking the rut. Now, you see, usually in a Kamen Rider, or even in a Super Sentai, the way to break your problems is literally to break your problems. By beating the crap out of something, or shooting something, or, you know, anything like that. And that's always the way things have been done in Tokusatsu. Now, in this episode, while that could have been done, this episode takes a huge, huge left turn and actually has Gintaro actually talk the Zodiac down. And pretty much to a point where he's no longer not too much of a threat. Because as you see, the guy turns full Zodiac, or pretty much almost all Zodiac. His body's still there in cobwebs, so he's not dead. He's still on his last one. He hasn't turned into complete Zodiac just yet. So what does he do? He runs off, and now he's stuck in the Zodiac form. He can't go into human form and hide, or else he'll lose the last one. Or I think that's how it works. Sorry, y'all, this is a raw review. I watched it raw, and here's the review. Sorry. Christmas. I was in a rush. Damn, I gotta put that thing down. Anyway, so what ends up happening is Gintaro, gets his hand turned to stone, because now the new ability with the last one is not only to respawn, but is also to be able to shoot the stone ability that the Zodiac had. Instead of touching something and turning it into stone, he can now shoot things and it'll turn into stone. Which I kind of have a problem with because of later, but I have a theory to get rid of all that, so I'll come back to that when I get there. He runs off into the forest to hide. Gintaro, feeling bad and going back to nurse his hand, even though his stone hand, I know it's like this, but for some reason I feel like it's always changing into whatever he needs it, even though it's stone. I might be wrong about that, but, you know, whatever. And so Gintaro decides that he's not going to fight him anymore and go out and try to actually befriend this guy, because he wasn't that bad of a guy, and goes out into the forest to find him. And he finds him and draws him a picture. The same thing the guy was actually doing, drawing pictures for those little kids for Christmas. So, in his essence, he's a very nice guy, so this was actually something very smart for Gintaro to do. And it does get to him, it does warm his heart a little. And then, of course, the other Zodiac, I don't know what the hell he is, because I'm not into Zodiacs or celestial signs. Okay, I was, but I forgot them all. But I don't know what he is, but he looks weird and awesome at the same time. So, what he does is beats the crap out of Kisaragi in the Kamen Rider Fourze form, because he can shapeshift. And there's also this funny little part where, of course, Kisaragi just goes, Uchu Kita! And he's just like, Uchu Kita. And he's just like, wait, that's not how you do it. And that was just like a little nice comedic point that was pulling in there, even though it's not the main comedic point. No, that's coming up next. But they fight, Kisaragi considerably loses, and, they move on from there. The Zodiac now walking over to the children's class where Yumi and the 3 choir boys, who, yes, I know, he isn't fucking Kamen Rider Meteor. I know that now. Calm your tits. And also, I know the drill and rockets are not out forever. They just have to refill. I'm sorry, I was rushing through that review, so I didn't get to say that. I just said they were out of commission. I didn't say they were out for good. I never said that. God, people. Sorry. But other than that, Kisaragi actually comes back after being turned into stone and then somehow healed. I completely forgot how, but it really doesn't matter. Actually, that's probably one thing about this episode that I don't like. The Kisaragi getting turned into stone. Yes, it's a turning point in the episode, but it's quickly forgotten and resolved. Almost to a point where it didn't need to be there at all. It almost felt like it was like a speed bump on a highway. It's completely unnecessary and probably dangerous, but it doesn't need to be there. For that one point where the Zodiac guy decides that he is not going to be good anymore, he's going to be evil. Right when he gets there, he realizes that the kids have taken inspiration from his art and snaps back out of it. So, literally, Kisaragi did not have to be in that forest, and that whole scene was almost pretty much useless. If not for being entertaining, I would say that was a stupid and useless scene. But it was pretty fucking entertaining, so I can forgive it. Now, another thing, of course, Yumi, not wanting to be one of subtlety, decides to sing a song about the stars and the universe, dressed as a satellite. That was pretty fucking funny. And, of course, the Zodiac gets a change of heart and becomes a good guy again, even though he's still stuck in the Zodiac form. But instead of letting all this happiness go along, the Zodiac, who I don't know, it's not the Scorpion one, but it's the other one. There's only two right now. And comes up and forces him to fight Kamen Rider Fourze, as he fights him as well. And out of nowhere, in the middle of the battle, we do get to finally see Kamen Rider Meteor! Don't ask me why I did that. I just felt like it. But he comes into the fight, and, you know, he's a badass. Unlike Kamen Rider Fourze, though, honestly, the fighting style of Kamen Rider Fourze looks like a Street Fighter style. More of somebody who knows how to throw a punch, but isn't technically trained. He throws punches and kicks, and sees if they land. He's very telegraphing in his moves, and he doesn't have too much form or technique, and relies mostly on his weapons and gadgets to get by. And what does Kamen Rider Meteor fight like? Fucking Bruce Lee! He even does the "Ow!" I mean, he's bouncing around, he's actually fighting. And, god damn it, the secondary rider is kind of better than the first rider because he can fight better. He actually does hold off a full-blown Zodiac on his own without too much effort. And he has kind of a cooler power and costume design. Because I love the Kamen Rider Meteor's costume design. It's fantastic. The body is a black with glittered stars, making him resemble space itself, as he has this blue flame that signifies the trail of a meteor, and the mask of how it comes off to one side. It doesn't look goofy. It doesn't look silly. It actually looks pretty fucking awesome and reminds me of somebody who, if I didn't know better, if they did it like CGI or animated, this guy would have looked like a fucking living meteor with a cosmic body. And that's freaking cool. Now, I haven't seen how his belt or his bracelet works completely yet, so I'm not going to comment on that right now. But other than that, he kicks ass, he takes names. Even though the Zodiac survives and runs, he does damage him pretty fucking bad. And doesn't talk to Kisaragi at all, and hops on his awesome satellite bike, and that can turn into also a fire meteor, and rides off into the sunset. Sorta. Kinda pissed at Kisaragi too. So, we don't know who the secondary writer is, and we won't know until I think the next episode. So, of course, Kisaragi gets his rocket and drill switches back, they're recharged now, and does the rider kick into the Zodiac and changes him back to normal for good, and it all ends happily ever after. Like I said, this episode is a good 10 out of 10. Why? Because it was a Christmas special that wasn't all Christmas special. Unlike Kamen Kaizoku Sentai, but I'll get to that in my next video. But for now, I actually did like this episode, and I really, really want to see more from this episode. More of this. More of a... I know this has been a silly run so far, but when you actually have a real hard-boiled Kamen Rider come in and then beat the fuck out of something that Kisarigi couldn't, it kind of puts things into perspective. Like, it's as if Oz was just playing around, and out of nowhere, fucking Decade came in and just killed off one of his enemies, going, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you fucking around?" And then walks out. And that's actually kind of cool. It may seem douchebaggy, but kind of cool. And actually makes me kind of go, ooh, that's going to happen next episode. So, until next time, guys, I'm going to have to walk up to the camera and turn it off due to the fact that this is my iPad. Yes, I got an iPad for Christmas. I'm happy. So, I'm going to find a clever way to do that, and you guys are going to see me next time on either my Kaizoku Sentai video or next week when I review the next episode. So, until next time, y'all, peace.